independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
CENTCOM just coming out with a statement saying that the RQ-4A Global Hawk aircraft was shot down by an Iranian surface-to-air missile system while operating in international airspace over the Strait of Hormuz. The Iranians are not disputing that they shot down the drone, but claim it was in Iranian territorial airspace. CENTCOM saying flatly that the Iranian claims are false and that this was an unprovoked attack.
Yeah. Now what do we do? That is the question. What do we do? Because 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, you had the ships attacked, right? And now they shot down one of our drones. They shot down one of our drones. And one of the things they said, right, again, they basically said, the Revolutionary Guard, you know what? We're ready for war. We're ready. We're ready. Now, Trump speaking a little while ago, I think trying to throw a little cool water on this.
I have a feeling, I may be wrong and I may be right, but I'm right a lot. I have a feeling that it was a mistake made by somebody that shouldn't have been doing what they did.
Is that true? Feels like you're throwing some water on some stuff. He also said this.
I find it hard to believe it was intentional, if you want to know the truth. I think that it could have been somebody who was loose and stupid that did it.
I know, Phil, that's how you like your women. Oh, my God, Chad, you're just a sexist beast. Let's be real. He's throwing some water on it because the potential is there for this to get ugly fast. You know it and I know it. How much of this is Russia? How much of this is, hey, see what they do? I mean, they didn't really do anything when you hit the ships. See what they do. Poke them a little bit more. Find out what's happening. And Trump saying that right there, I think, calms things down a little bit, at least for now. Producer Anthony and I were talking today, and I'm like, man, you shot down one of our machines. You shot down one of our machines. And Trump said, hey, this is real. This is real. This was not some, hey, take my word for it. We have all the documentation. He even said it was scientific of where we were. And they did this. And I think he's trying to say, I have a feeling this was more of a mess up than intentional. But it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Know that this area is always ready to explode at any given time. Iran is flexing its muscles because they're desperate right now. They're desperate. The sanctions are crushing them. It's getting uglier and uglier. And they're trying to figure out, what do we do? How do we go about doing something to get the world's attention, to try to bring them back to the table so we can talk about stuff? But they said essentially today, look, hey, we don't want war, but we're ready for it.
I'm confident if there's a war with Iran, they lose. I'm confident it would be very devastating to the region, will not be pretty, don't want to go there. But what more do you expect the president to do?
And that's a very fair question. You know, I mean, there's a portion of me that says, all right, let's take a deep breath. Let's get all the information and find out, did this really happen because they made a mistake, or was this intentional? And it's hard to tell. You know, look, depending on where you are, it's hard to trust us. It's hard to trust Iran. But if this was real, do we find producer Anthony and I were talking about, do we find a non-civilian place, least casualties as possible, and just say, look at that. Do you really want to do this? Come back to the table. Let's talk about real things when it comes to your nuclear project. And maybe, just maybe, we'll let you, come back and deal with some normalcy again, rather than dealing with the people that you have to. The Putins, Kim Jong-un, Assad, not Assad, kind of Assad, these people over here, these people, all bad. Cuba, whatever whoever else, Venezuela, whoever that you can hang out with that will let you come over. But this was an ugly thing. And I don't know if retaliation at this moment in time, you want to make sure you have all your ducks in a row. But if it's true, do you hit out? Do you say, let's pick a place that is, for all intents and purposes, going to do a little bit of damage, mostly show what we're capable of doing, just to say we're not having it? Or do we step back and say, look, here's the deal. We're going to go with this one's a mistake. The next time you do it, we will look at it as an act of war. This is our line. And you see what happens when you cross our line with this guy. Not the last guy, but with this guy.
When Obama said to Assad, you better not use chemical weapons, Assad did. The rest is history. Trump has told the Iranians, you cannot disrupt navigation of the seas. You can't attack our interests or our allies. That's an unacceptable way to live in the 21st century.
Yeah, it is. Old guy, new guy. We'll find out. It's going to be very interesting moving forward. But this was definitely a ramp up in what's happening. And I think the potential for this thing to get ugly is there. And I would like to think cooler heads will prevail, because I don't think Trump wants to be involved in anything else. Because that's not a winning process, and it's not a winning formula going into 2020 to get us into another situation. At the same time, we cannot stand around and let them continue to do certain things along the way because you're worried about an election. You got to do what's right for Israel. You got to do what's right for the region and for our interest. You walk that fine line. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. He's getting hammered. So we're, a week away from 6 days away from the first two Democratic conventions. But Thursday night next week is going to be the battle. And Biden is going to be on stage, and I'll tell you, it is going to be 9-1. He's the leader. As you know, with the leader in anything, you want to knock that person off the mountain. And they're coming from him. And they're coming after him from being old. They're coming after him for not being woke enough. The one thing Biden has that is bad in this day and age is his record of being in politics, who he's dealt with in politics, is long. Especially considering that a lot of the times that he was dealing with people, they weren't woke as well. And as we know in this day and age, retro rage is all the rage. Cory Booker and a lot of people are going after him based on things that took place in the 70s and the attitudes that he has about civility towards segregationists and the way that he had to deal with them.
How does it feel that your Democratic rivals are implicitly saying that you have issues talking about race?
They know better.
Are you going to apologize like Cory Booker has called for?
What?
Cory Booker's called for it. He's asking you to apologize.
He knows better. There's not a racist bone in my body. I've been involved in civil rights my whole career. Period. Period. Period.
Now, this goes back to the 70s, dealing with two segregationists who were in the Democratic Party who were openly just awful human beings. He was new to politics. Look, the reality is in life, you're going to be dealing with people you do not like, whether it's politics, school, work, sports. That is it. These people were awful. They were. He showed some civility because you're going to have to work with some of those people. I harbor a guess that many of you are working with people that you cannot stand at all either. But you have to get along with them at times. He got criticized the other day for what? For saying that he would work with the Republicans. Like, that's the ridiculousness of what it is. So they're going to be coming for him in a big way because he's an old white dude who's trying to remake his image in today's woke world. And people look at it as you're trying to be the hip, cool guy when really you're too old to be in the club.
the vice president said I should know better, and this is what I know. As a black man in America, I know the deeply harmful and hurtful usage of the word boy and how it was used to dehumanize and degrade. I know that segregation is like the two people you were talking about through their laws and their language. Deeply wounded this nation, and the present-day manifestations of their work can still be seen in black and brown communities like the one I go home to. I know that somebody running for president of the United States should know that using the word boy in the way he did can cause hurt and pain, and we need a presidential nominee and leader of our party to be sensitive to that.
Why are you whispering? Guys, I want to talk to you. They're coming for him hard. They are going to destroy each other. Before you get to take on Godzilla, which is Trump, they have to go through the battle. It's like Monster Island, right? Before you got who's going to get off Monster Island? Who's going to be king of these monsters? And they're going to battle the hell out of each other. And this is what Obama talked about a few weeks ago, was the circling firing squad. They're going to be shooting at each other. So it is going to get ugly. But look, you know what? I don't think Biden's racist. I may not agree with him in a lot of the politics, but I don't think he's got a racist bone in the body. But anything that they can do, it's death by 1,000 cuts. 1-on-1, they may not be able to beat him, but 9-on-1, they got a chance. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. This is an interesting study. All right. How quickly would Americans spend $10 million? A new survey. So if you got $10 million, how long would it last? I thought, wow, that's kind of weird. Like, if you got $10 million a day, how long is this thing going to last? 7 years is the time they said it would take you to spend it. Now, spending it doesn't mean you blow everything. Most people said, 53% of them said they can invest the money. So you may invest $10 million. In theory, you've just spent it all, if you will. Give money to family, put money in savings, buy property, pay off debt, donate to charity. Those kind of things are all there. Start a business was important. That was number 10, 34%. Here's what people would splurge on. This is what I found interesting. Latest technology, sports car, luxury vacation, travel, dream home, 50%. Private island, diamond jewelry, and eat at a Michelin star restaurant, 13%. So if you got $10 million today, what are you doing with it? I've always said, you take a bit of money that you have, right, and you say, all right, this is my splurge money. That one or two things that I want to buy. And that is not, and we're not talking about the house. We're talking about, like, you want to buy the Ferrari, you buy the Ferrari. You want to buy the, the presidential Rolex or the Daytona or those guys. This is what you do it with right here. And the rest of it you invest and you do smart things with it. Set up stuff for your kids, the whole 9 yards. That way you get it out of your system. I love it. People are 42% say they give to charity. Yeah, that charity's my charity, baby. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. You won't need $10 million to get $8 million smile. Boom! See what I did there, kids? Candid is incredible. They got licensed orthodontists in your state. What they're going to do is they're going to show you how in less than 6 months they can give you brighter, whiter, and straighter teeth at a cost that's not going to break the bank. 65% less than braces. And what they're going to do is they're going to create a 3D preview of what your teeth are going to look like. It's going to be custom clear aligner sent to you. You're never going to have to go to an orthodontist office. It is amazing. 65% less than braces. Brighter, whiter, straighter teeth in less than 6 months. Oh, yeah. Sign you up. How do you do it? Let me tell you what you need to do. Go to candidco.com/Benson. You're going to learn everything you need to know to see how this thing works, and you're going to see some before and afters, and it's amazing. You're going to save $75. Go to candidco.com/Benson, candidco.com/Benson to save $75 off and to learn everything you need to know about your new smile. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson, Chad Benson Show.
Well, get over it. It's time to forge a new path with your very own political cartographer, Chad.
Megan Rapinoe sends it in low, near post. It's flicked in front, and the U.S. is on top. Lindsey Horan will get her second of this World Cup.
And just like that, the United States is playing in the second round as champions of their group. Basically, everybody who started the tournament, if you didn't go through, that's sad. It's kind of it. Had 24 teams, 16 go through. We're the best team in the world. We showed that today. Sweden's a good team. They're ranked 9th in the world. They had a couple opportunities. The reality is the Americans still dominated the game, and we look like we're going to be tough to beat. So we play Spain on Monday. We have yet to give up a goal. We've scored a lot. What have we scored? 18 goals? Given up none. That's a world beater there right there, mate. It's a world beater. Absolutely is a world beater. Fantastic. So we play Spain, and then if all goes to plan, I think next Friday, potentially a week from today, we would be playing in the quarterfinals the host of the World Cup, the French. What would it be like? 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Here's something gross. 40% of young adults don't wear deodorant. Oh, jeez. So the study finds, the millennials and Gen Zers do not wear deodorant. I have no idea why. Maybe they're lazy, right? I don't know. About 30% of adults 25 to 54 said, they don't wear it. But definitely 40% between 18 to 24 do not use deodorant and haven't in the past month. Poll also find young adults wash their hair as often as their parents' generation, so that's good. Care about some things, but not everything. Stanky indeed. Stanky politics, stanky beliefs, stanky kids. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Speaking of something they find stinky, capitalism. We're going to discuss it. Good, bad, evil. Are billionaires really ruining your life? I will ask the question. Straight ahead, Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
We have no illusions about Iran in terms of their ballistic missile transfers, about who they support in the region and the rest. So we have an untrustworthy adversary.
Bad actors. They're bad actors. They're bad actors. Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, they're untrustworthy. They are. They're untrustworthy. I think we all know that. They're still saying, hey, you know what? We did this today, but that thing with the boat, we didn't do that. That's not us. I mean, it was us, but it's not us. We directed it, but it's not us. Even though it's us, we sold them the weapons. They happen to be Iranian. We told them to go do this. We paid them, but it's not us. But this thing today, the shooting down the drone, that's us. We did that. Here's something interesting. What if it was manned? What if this wasn't a drone, but it was something else? Would that have changed where Trump's going? And Trump's got a very interesting thing. He's got over here John Bolton, who would start a war by the sounds of it with a shadow. Over here, you've got Mike Pompeo, who is a little bit more pragmatic, a little bit more steady-headed, tough, right? No nonsense kind of guy. And then you got Trump, and Trump doesn't want to be involved in anything, I think, at this point in time, with getting us into another situation that's not going to be a war, more of a kerfuffle, I would assume. But he doesn't want to be anywhere near that, and I don't blame him. But the question is going to be, what do you do? That's it. What do you do? What do you do if you're the president? How do you go about doing something that sends a message, potentially, before you have to send maybe another message.
If he chooses to frame it as just a response to the unacceptable shooting down of one of our aircraft, then perhaps the targets would be the surface-to-air missile base where that missile came from, maybe something a little smaller, akin to what we saw when he sent a message to Syria on their use of chemical weapons.
Yeah, and that's a possibility. And do you, because he said today, I don't think they did it on purpose. I think somebody was, stupid and loose or something like that, and I don't think they did it on purpose. And maybe that's a message to, hey, let's not escalate this because I got an election coming up. I don't want to really get into anything. I'm not going to allow you to do anything else. So I'm going to say maybe, just maybe, you didn't do this. It was an accident. And we're going to let it go at that. And then you put something else out there that says, if you do something again, then we're going to come hard. We shall see. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet us. Speaking of actors, I was joking around about actors. I read this great thing last night from, I was in the Hollywood Reporter. The guy who runs Marvel Studios. I don't know if you've heard this, Phil. Every single superhero they have, they go to Keanu Reeves and say, do you want to be him? Who do you want to be in our Marvel world? And you could be whoever you want. And he says, Nah, I like being John Wick. It's crazy. He is at the height right now of everybody seems to love him. He seems to be a cool guy, which I've had my buddies work with him on several occasions in a few films, and says he is the nicest guy ever. Like he'll shoot baskets with the crew. He's a really cool dude, and he just seems to be like, if you look right now at the height of coolness and doing his thing and banking it, it seems to be him. And I see all the people that are signing up to be in Bill and Ted 3. That's going to be fun. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Do love to hear from you. Are you threatened?
Is your life being wrecked by the super rich?
The super rich. Who are they and what are they doing to us?
What are they doing to us? Whatever it is, people say that just the fact that the rich have so much is itself immoral.
Immoral and wrong that the top 0.1% in this country own almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%.
They want to condemn the people that actually have moved civilization forward.
Yeah. Is it immoral and wrong? No, I don't think it's immoral and wrong. I've never been concerned about what other people have. And I've always fascinated by people who are concerned about what somebody has, what they have compared to somebody else, right? It fascinates me to see people who all the while talk about how greedy everybody else is, all the while talking about their money and their success and how they can take it and do other things with it. And I don't care. Like, this is my lane. This is who I am. I'm staying right here, right? What Jeff Bezos does has made my life easier because I can shop and at times my wallet a little lighter because it's so simple. But him profiting the way he does has no effect on my life. For other people, it does. And they're concerned about it. Then don't shop with him. The same people that bitch about Amazon, I guarantee you most of them have Amazon accounts.
Today's democratic socialists say rich people got rich by taking money from others. In fact, they
actually improved the standard of living for everybody on the planet.
How is that possible? How could it improve everyone's living standard? Isn't there a fixed amount of money in the world, so when rich people grab a lot, there's less for everyone else? No, because wealth can be created.
Yeah, how about that? How about apples that are those apples? And we're not talking about counterfeiters. You can create wealth. When everybody talked about all the money that disappeared in the stock market when the crash happened, not everybody went broke, by the way. That money didn't just disappear. It transferred hands. Oh, yeah, that's what happens. It's very interesting. I'm not saying capitalism's perfect. And when you mix it with politics, right, and you get politicians involved, you get crony capitalism, which so many people point to as capitalism, which is not the free market. It's not. But every system out there is going to have government involved in some way, shape, or form, so it lends itself for the opportunity for it to become tainted. But when you look, and you look at the history, show me something better.
We have basically made about $2 a day for 100,000 years. And then something amazing happened about 250 years ago.
A few countries tried capitalism. For the first time, people were allowed to profit from private property. That changed everything. Division of labor let people produce more with less, and then they traded to get even more. Wealth increased with every innovation.
Yeah. I mean, show me some. I'm always amazed. And we talked about it yesterday. The infiltration of the academia, the higher education academia, right? Who've come in and who are pushing back against capitalism and installing their belief system of the socialism and this Marxism and this world of how bad everything is and how everybody out there only got to where they got because it was stolen, all the while unchecked, all the while enjoying everything that capitalism has brought them while saying at the same time it's bad.
At the Industrial Revolution.
Industrialists, the people who owned the factory, employed hundreds, sometimes thousands of people, and they made enormous profits.
And how does that benefit your fellow man?
And ever since, politicians have complained about those profits. In the past several hundred years, we've gone from a society where people hoped to get jobs that required long hours of hard manual labor to one where almost everyone has what they need to live, and more people have leisure time to do things like watch movies.
Yeah. Yeah. We got a lot of leisure time. We do. Lots of leisure time. It's just amazing. And I hear it all the time. And I guarantee you, I'm getting text messages and tweets now about how wrong I am and it should be like this and why can't it be more like this and blah, 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 blah. And it's frustrating. It really is. It's the best system out there. Show me something better and I'll jump all over it. What you're mad about, and this is the thing, what you're mad about isn't capitalism. It's the fact that you feel that people who have done well don't pay enough. So you're more mad about the tax code and the system itself than you are about the system of capitalism.
Since the Industrial Revolution,
we have more than doubled our life expectancy. We have dramatically increased the quality of our life, and we are wealthier than anybody could have imagined.
Made possible by private property and capitalism, which people hate.
People don't like it because, it takes real responsibility over your own life to achieve something. And unfortunately, our educational system has taught us that since we don't sacrifice enough, because we're basically too self-interested to sacrifice enough.
Yeah. Well, that's everybody, right? We're all a little narcissistic. Hence the reason we have the word selfie. I'm just saying.
Today's socialists say self-absorbed Americans won't help the poor and the sick. That's why government must force everyone to give. Otherwise, the weak and the poor will suffer and die.
But indeed, the weak and the poor under capitalism has done better than in any other system. It allows individuals to pursue their own happiness. Your pursuit of your own well-being, which is a virtue in and of itself.
Yeah. So true. Look, I'm willing to talk. I'm willing to discuss. Let's do it. Let's break it down. Let's talk about it. But the fact is, capitalism has brought more people from poverty to prosperity than anything else. And look around the globe, where we once were 30 plus years ago with extreme poverty. One in every about 3 people were living in extreme poverty. That is down to like 1 in, 10, 12, something like that. That's amazing. Why? Because we've allowed people to prosper. We've given people opportunities, and they've taken a hold of those opportunities. It's not perfect. Nothing ever is. But like everything else, usually the imperfection isn't capitalism. It's the people who get involved and decide to take advantage of it in certain ways. And also it's the governments that get involved to decide we want some of what you got, and you want some of what we got. We want your money, and you want us to regulate and make it tougher for other people to compete against you. That's cronyism. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me, my pillow. Speaking of capitalism, kids, speaking of capitalism, hey, it's me, Harry, back from the dead. Let's talk about my pillow. Oh, Harry Carey, it's not with us anymore. It's not. It's crazy. Foul ball. My pillow is amazing. I've had 2 years now. Everybody in my family, I've got them all my pillows. They love them. It really is incredible. You sleep so amazing. You sleep sound, and that's the most important. For me, the most important thing is, because I know I'm not always going to have a chance to get 6-7 hours of sleep. Sometimes it's only 5 hours of sleep. I'm traveling, doing the things I do. I want to sleep sound, and that's what my pillow does. And they're doing stuff for my listeners right now. You're going to get 2 premium pillows. These amazing pillows, the same amazing pillows you have a chance to get all the time, right? But for such a discount, it's less than $70 for 2 of those. Same awesome pillows, made in the United States, 10-year warranty, machine washable and dryable, but you're going to get a 60-day money-back guarantee for these 2 premium pillows for less than $70. How do you get this amazing thing? Well, I'll tell you, kids. It's awesome. Go to mypillow.com. Use the promo code Benson. mypillow.com. They'll also throw it in for free shipping. What? Yes. mypillow.com, promo code Benson, or call 800-983-4975. Use the promo code Benson, or mypillow.com, promo code Benson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
No need to fear. We promise we won't give you a noogie and make you cry Russia, Russia, Russia.
Who is the fearless leader?
Pui.
Pui, and double pui.
What is your language? This is a family show, remember?
Pui to family too.
Nostrovia. This is Chad Benson.
Russia's President Vladimir Putin spent just over 4 hours answering questions during his annual marathon call-in show. Russian state TV said there were 1.5 million questions submitted by Russians, hoping that theirs will get picked up and solved by the Russian president. Putin used the heavily choreographed show to signal to Russians he's aware they're feeling an economic squeeze. He also warned against a war between the US and Iran. He said that it would be a catastrophe.
Yes, of course it would. Caller number 3, line 3. Steve, what's the problem?
I'm in love, lad.
Well, that's nice.
I don't think she loves me.
Oh, that's not nice. Tell me more about what's going on. Would it be great if it was like Delilah? This song goes out to somebody who's very special. I think you'll like this one. Michael Bublé. He's my favorite. We kidnap him, make him come sing at Palace. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Oh, man, just what do you think? It's a bit outside. Baseball's going a little bit wacky.
The Rays have busted it open.
The Tampa Bay Rays are good, a close second in the AL East. Their attendance is not. Second to last in all of baseball, so the league has given the team permission to explore a plan to play half its games in Montreal, which lost the team in 2004 for lack of interest. The Rays, though, believe the two-city solution is the most feasible to keep the team at least partly in town. Rays owner Stu Sternberg said he is committed to keeping baseball in Tampa Bay for generations to come, and splitting the season between two places, he said, is worthy of serious exploration.
So wait a minute here. I want to check this. So what you're telling me is you don't get anybody to watch the game where you are. And now you were like, hey, I got a great idea. Let's go to Montreal. Now, I know what you're saying. Montreal used to have a baseball team. They did. But their team, they didn't care about. Nobody showed up at all. They played at an Olympic Stadium. It was empty. It was empty. So you want to take them back there is what you want to do. Why don't you do this? Let's play all your games on the road. How about that? Let's try that for a year. That's not very cool. No, why not? Right? Play all your games on the road, but half your games will be home games. So you can bat last. That'd be interesting. Try something, because what you do right now, and it sucks because if you know anything about baseball, They're a damn good team. They're a damn good team. And the reality is, if they were, I told producer Phil, I said, if they're in the World Series, and the World Series started tonight, and they're taking on the Dodgers, or whoever, I will tell you this right now, good seats would still be available. It is empty. Empty. And I think the fear in Florida is we built a team's stadium down the road there in Miami, and it didn't work like a lot of people thought. So, no, you guys aren't going to get a new stadium. So play in this airplane hangar. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Do love to hear from you. Check out the Gramo Insta as well. What will we do with Iran? I wonder. I wonder indeed. What do you think Trump's thinking? He's probably thinking, should I get a Big Mac tonight? Nah. Get a quarter pounder. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
When the drone was hit, the U.S. Navy surging its partner through rough seas to the debris field to recover what they could of the classified aircraft. At 10:15 a.m., after President Trump is briefed, he tweets this stern warning. Iran made a very big mistake. Just over an hour later, Iran's foreign minister firing back on Twitter, "We don't seek war, but will zealously defend our skies, land, and waters."
Now what? Now what? That's the big question. Now what? Trump, I think, instead of what many people think he was going to do, which is fan and stoke the flame and get ready for war, actually said this.
I have a feeling, I may be wrong and I may be right, but I'm right a lot. I have a feeling that it was a mistake made by somebody that shouldn't have been doing what they did.
But they said, no, it was no mistake. You guys were over our airspace and our water area, and we came for you, and we did it. Now, Navy's saying, you know what, we're going to go get our drone. And the potential for something to go south is real. We've got to decide, how do we approach this now as far as our response?
We have to be proportional in our own self-defense. And for those that frame it as something larger and broader, they're going to want to advocate for a lot of targets, a big muscular response. And for those that would like to frame it as a smaller individual shoot down of a drone without a human in it, well, then maybe the targets are smaller, the operations and the risk associated with retaliation are smaller.
I think what we're going to do is Trump's going to send a message, and the message is, we're going to take this right here as it was a mistake, right? This is a mistake. So let's cool our heels, right? Let's relax for a little bit. If this happens again, we will have a response, much like we did with Syria. This is our red line right here. So if it happens again, something's going to happen. I'm sure Russia's playing a little bit of part of this. They're enjoying it. Think about this, too. Russia struggling economically right now. And to give you an idea, Iran is not just struggling. They are absolutely beat down. They can't get their oil out. They can't sell it basically to anybody but a few people. They are really struggling. And I know a lot of people say, well, you know, we should have stayed in it. You know what? Obama went and put together something that the reality is He wanted something done. John Kerry wanted something done, but it wasn't worth the paper it was written on. And I still think that even if Trump negotiated something that he thought was fantastic, they have always made it known what they would like to have happen. The other nations are still in the accord, and they're not following the rules. They said they got 10 days. That was what, 5, 6, 7 days ago? Otherwise, they're going to start ramping up everything again. And again, it's only for peaceful. It is what it is. Iran has always been the largest state sponsor of terror. They are continuing to do what they've done for years. We would love to see a regime change. Who wouldn't? But it's not going to happen anytime soon. And I was listening to somebody today, and they're like, well, if we got into a war with Iran, this is going to be ugly and bad. They're really tough. No. It ends quick. If it got to something big, fast, it'll end much faster. Because at some point in time, Israel's just dying to get into it. And unlike us, they have zero. Like, once they start going, there's no stopping. So, no. I would love to engage our allies and some people in the region that we can get this thing to a situation where we calm it down a little bit. I don't know if that's going to happen. But I don't think anything's going to happen too crazy too soon. And if there is going to be a response, it'll be with very few civilians, if at all. It'll be strategic, and it will be a warning shot that, hey, if you think that you want to do this, if you're feeling froggy, as they would say, then jump. We shall see. But they're feeling the pressure. The Russians are feeling the pressure. Sanctions, if implemented right, if put into place where everybody who decides they're going to get involved, gets involved and stays involved the way they're supposed to, as opposed to, yeah, sanctions, but we're going to still deal with you and tell everybody we're not, so you really don't feel those sanctions. They're feeling them. And people are getting upset. This is destroying their economy big time. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from each and every one of you. Still sitting here laughing because they're going after old Joe, Sleepy Joe, Mr. Biden. They're coming after him about something from the 70s and the words that he used and blah, 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 blah. Cory Booker wants some sort of an apology. I have no idea. At this point in time, you're like, okay, you need to put on cue cards what I'm apologizing for, because I don't know what I'm apologizing for. And I've said it, and I'll say it again. I do not believe that Joe Biden is a racist.
Clearly, he's not a racist, but he said something that he shouldn't have said.
Yeah. What, that he was civil to a couple people back in the day that held a lot of sway in the 70s in Democratic politics that were in his party, the Democratic Party? And, it's just, this is it right here. This is what it looks like when, if you will, they eat their own. And that's what's happening. They're coming hard at each other. We're 6 days away from the first debate, 7 days away from the big main event debate. Right? So would you call it Demchella? Is that what you call it? Demchella? Yeah. I think this. So Demchella night one. Elizabeth Warren is the one that's probably the only person who could headline, if you will, I think, at least right now. And on the other side, though, the next night you've got the big ones, and the ones who are what you would consider, they're not the opening act, but they're definitely playing on. I mean, they're not the closing act, but they're definitely playing on the main stage. They're going to be coming hard for him. I don't think he's a racist. It's crazy that they're arguing over this stuff, and now they're coming hard for him. And Booker, I want an apology. Shut up. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
But I think this reveals what the fear is about Joe Biden that a lot of Democrats had as he started this race, which is that he has a propensity for gaffes. He has a propensity to not think about what he's saying, and he's out of step with the modern Democratic Party. Those things are true. That does not mean he cannot be the nominee. It just means that he has a very, very uphill battle because of those things that he's fighting against. The inertia of Joe Biden, the guy from 1975 running in 2019.
I don't believe that. I'll tell you why. Nobody cares what Democratic politics is except for the Democrats who are super uber woke. The average Democrat, right? Middle of the country. I'm not talking about the Berkeley Democrat, identity and gender politics and all that stuff. I'm not talking about the Manhattan elitist. I'm talking about that going to work every day, union member, Democrat. They don't care about this stuff. This means nothing. They want to see what you're going to do with health care. They want to see what you're going to do about a lot of things that Nancy Pelosi says, you know what, that's dinner table politics. She was talking about that earlier. That's what they want to see. People on the news debate these kind of things, but I'm telling you, somebody in the middle of the country doesn't care what Cory Booker's thinking about right now from something that happened in the 70s. He's gaffe prone. They're all gaffe prone. In fact, based on their own ridiculous standards that they're trying to set of perfection, every one of them has a massive problem that they have to apologize for. Beto decided he was going to run for president, and then since that day, he's done nothing but apologize. It's just insane. It is. I don't get it. I don't get it. Do not get it. We'll see. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. It's got to be cool. NBA draft tonight. You know, you're going to be Zion. You know, Zion Williamson, number one pick, superstar. He's already being sued by his agency because he left. So he's not even in the NBA yet. He's not signed his first professional contract. And he's having a big breakup with his, I guess, his original management agency. And now they're suing him for $100 million. Welcome to the world of adulthood. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter, tweet at us. Wounded Paw, amazing organization. Really are. And I've been talking about them for a while, and I've got a lot of people that have chimed in and said, hey, you know, who's this organization? What exactly, you know, do they need? I said they need cash and they need your vehicles. And what they do is they go into kill facilities, and they identify dogs that are otherwise, you know, on such borrowed time, and they rescue them. And then they train them to be service dogs because they've recognized that 20 veterans a day on average commit suicide. And then they join these dogs up with veterans, first responders, and their families. It is absolutely amazing. But like I said, they do need their help. And how do you do this? Simple. Maybe you got a car, an RV, a truck, something like that, and you're just like, I don't know what to do with this thing. It's in storage. It's costing me money. I'm never going to use it. I was going to trade it in. It's not even worth anything. Give it to them. They'll take it. Maybe you're just a good person. You're like, you know what? I got 2 of these. I don't need them. Boom. Give it to them. They'll take it. Cash. They'll take it. Go to woundedpawproject.org. Check it out for yourself. woundedpawproject.org or call 844-678-4PAW. That's 844-678-4729. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Take a fake news break. Check out the really important news of the day at our website, ChadBensonShow.com. Once there, click on Chad's free podcast and get real. The Chad Benson Show, where truth and the American way live. Print free.
I think me competing against cisgender females is a disadvantage because my body is going through so many medical implications, like it's going through biochemistry changes. So being on, hormone replacement therapy, it gives you your muscle depletion, your muscle is deteriorating.
Mm-hmm.
you lose a lot of strength because, testosterone is where you get your strength, your agility, all of that athletic stuff. So I have to work twice as hard to keep that strength. And if I slack a day, that's like 3 days set behind. So I have to continue. I have to keep up my workouts. I have to keep on top of all my things. I can't drink. I can't eat unhealthy, or else it's going to impact me harder.
You have an advantage. That's CeCe Telfer. Used to be a boy, now identifies as a girl. And goes to Franklin Pierce University. Absolutely destroys everybody in her path. It's not even close. When you look at her running, you're just like, really? Really? Connecticut, high school, issues there. Lawsuits coming right now from a few participants, including this young girl named Selena Soul.
I came 8th place, and the top 6 qualify for the regional New England meet. And if those 2 athletes weren't competing, then I would have been the 6th girl, and I would have moved on and advanced.
But those 2 athletes were trans, and Connecticut is one of 17 states where you can identify and you don't have to do anything. So you could say, in theory, even if you identify as and that's what you really feel, you don't have to take any of the hormones. So a 16-year-old athlete that's a boy is going to be in better physical strength and shape than a 16-year-old female. That's just the reality of it. And I will tell you, it's not fair. It's just not. The U.S. women's national team won today. They beat Sweden 2-0. Great game. And we talk about this all the time. And somebody asked me, says, Chad, do you like the men's game? I said, oh, the men's game is far superior. And somebody said, well, that's kind of sexist. And I said, no, it's just the reality of it. And they came back with something snide. Well, I'd like to see that for real. And I sent an article a couple years ago, an under 15 boys team beat the U.S. women's national team 5-2. U.S. women's national teams, we joked it off. This year, the Australians, who are one of the favorites in the women's, they got beat by an under 15 boys team 5-2 as well. Just the way it is. It's not fair. And when you listen to the attorney of this, and you listen to her talk about the records that have been shattered, how demoralizing would it be if you knew that you weren't going to win unless this person blows a hammy?
And Tucker, to underscore the inequity here, I want to highlight the fact one of these male athletes now holds 10 records inside the state of Connecticut that were once held by 10 individual girls and were established over the course of about a 20-year period. So it's fundamentally unfair to allow biological males to step into women's sports and frankly dominate them and take away opportunities not just to medal, but to be at the podium, to advance at the next level of competition, and even compete for scholarships for young women like Selena.
Yeah. And look, I understand that you walk the politically correct line. I get that. But can we just be honest? It's not. It's not fair. And this is something that yesterday a bunch of Democrats signed on for. And it's just, you hear the frustration. And this girl said, it sucks because other people have said stuff, but you can't say anything because if you do, you get labeled as, anti this or anti that. And it's not. It sucks. You're busting your ass. You're working hard. And the reality is you're not going to win. If it's a level playing field and you get your ass kicked and you finish last, that's fine. But it's not a level playing field. It's not. They have an advantage. That is the reality of that. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. What will we do when it comes to this crazy world of Iran? We need our drone back. Should we send them a bill? Hey, that cash we sent you, can you take $160 million? I think that's what that drone cost. And just parse that out and just send it back to us. We'd appreciate that. Just, that's it. You do that and we'll be cool. If you don't do that, then maybe we'll have a problem. I don't know. Producer Anthony pointed out something as well. If Trump is supposed to be in cahoots with all of these bad people, why aren't we in cahoots with Iran? Because they're friends with all these bad people. Shouldn't we all be in cahoots together then? Just a thought. Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
This drone is one of America's most sophisticated unarmed surveillance aircraft and costs more than $120 million. The question is, what happens now? You've heard President Trump downplay the recent attacks on the oil tankers, but this is a direct attack on a U.S. military asset. But the U.S. also has to be careful here. The Iranians may want a retaliatory strike to garner support at home and from allies in the region. A very significant escalation in this standoff with Iran.
I don't think anything's going to happen soon. Trump has come out and he said some stuff that I think is, you listen to him and you're like, well, wait a minute here. This goes against everything that people say he is, which is, he's one of those cowboys that walks around and always looking for a fight at the Long Branch Saloon.
I have a feeling, I may be wrong and I may be right, but I'm right a lot. I have a feeling that it was a mistake made by somebody that shouldn't have been doing what they did.
Yeah. So now what? We'll find out over the next couple days, right? We'll find out over the next couple days. People are speaking up about it. People are talking about it, both sides of the aisle.
I would hope that the administration would choose not to go down this path alone, but that they would work with the Congress and also work with our allies.
Yeah. And let's make sure. And you know what? Put a line out there. You did it with Syria and Assad. Put a line out there and say, Trump said he was probably loose and stupid, who was, didn't know what they were doing. So here's the deal. This is the line. If this happens again, I'm going to go to Congress and say, now what do we do? I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Do we allow them to continue to do this? Or do we step it up? Put the line out there. That's it. Just put a line out there. Get everybody involved. Don't bring us into anything unless it's absolutely necessary. They attack Israel, something like that. Don't do that. Make it so it looks like, hey, Trump's doing it, right? Trump's doing it. And he's talking about this today with Iran and the fact that, you know what? One of his big things was he didn't want what?
I said, I want to get out of these endless wars. I campaigned on that. I want to get out. We've been in Afghanistan for 19 years. As you know, we've reduced very substantially in Afghanistan.
Yeah, but you're putting 1,000 people over there, and part of that is because you feel like they're ramping up. And I think the information that the intelligence community is getting from both the Saudis, the Mossad, and Israel is that they're desperate, the Iranians, and that they're willing to try something. And I have a feeling the Russians are also telling them to push the envelope to see what happens. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. So yesterday on The View, so this past week, Bella Thorne, you don't know who she's an actress. She's been in a lot of things. A ton of things. She took some pictures, right? And they leaked out. Producer Phil, you were the one that we tasked to look at those awful pictures, and you did.
I did, and I had to do it a few times just to make sure.
Sacrifices, kids. Sacrifices. Because somebody was holding them hostage, right? We saw it about 2-3 weeks ago with Radiohead. Somebody got a bunch of the masters and the sessions, and they said, hey, unless you give us money, we're going to leak these things out. And they said, screw it, we'll leak them out ourselves, and people can donate money, and that way it takes away. And you're seeing a lot of this blackmail. In fact, yesterday there was a city in Florida who paid $600,000 because somebody came in and took over all of their files and information, and it was just cheaper to pay it off than to try to regain everything. But she decided, well, I'm just going to, release them. And yesterday on The View, Whoopi was being Whoopi.
Bella Thorne was left stunned after Whoppi Goldberg appeared to blame her for being blackmailed online. Bella recently released nude photos of herself after hackers threatened to release them first. Discussing the topic on American talk show The View, Whoppi didn't hold back in her criticism of Bella.
Listen, if you're famous, I don't care how old you are, you don't take nude pictures of yourself.
Really? You don't care?
Listen, when they're hacking you, they're hacking all of your stuff. So whether it's one picture or a million pictures, once you take that picture, it goes into the cloud and it's available to any hacker who wants it. And if you don't know that in 2019, that this is an issue, I'm sorry, your age does not, you don't get to do that.
Get over it. You know, different generation. Right? It's just a different generation. It is. This is what certain generations do comparatively to other generations. Yeah, and you should know it. You're going to do something like that. It's going to get out. You never think it's going to happen to you, but it's going to happen to you and everybody else, whether you just work down the street as an accountant or at a car wash or you're a star. Now, Bella Thorne then was, I don't know if she was acting or if she's just feels a little I don't get the I'm going to take everything to the world that we live in.
You're so crazy for thinking such terrible things on such an awful situation. Like, you know, I don't really want to go on The View anymore because I don't really want to be beaten down by a bunch of older women for my body and my sexuality. I don't really feel like that. And so I'm going to cancel my interview because I don't really want you guys talking about your views to young girls because I would not want my daughter to learn that, and I would never say that to her.
I like how she took a shot about how old they are. Nobody wants to see your fat, ugly bodies, you old hags. That's basically what she said. I translate crying young people into stuff that this older generation understands.
Shame on you, Whoopi. Shame on you, and shame on you for putting that public opinion just out there like that for every young girl to think that they're disgusting for even taking a photo like that.
Wow. Now it's shame on Whoopi for being old and fat. You wish you could take pictures like this, Whoopi. You wish. And producer Phil, you're right. You've already shown your boobs. Was there any other pictures or was it just her breast?
It was just boobs. At least the one she released.
Yeah, there you go. I do like, shame on you old fat people on The View. Shame on you. You wish you looked like me. I knocked it out the park. Oh, my God. But it's going to happen. This is what happens. People make an industry on this. Everything is being hacked. Every one of us is being hacked. Our machines listen to us. Our photos are out there for whoever wants to see them if they're smart enough to get to. So come on. Let's get over it. Stop shaming Bella. We need more Bella. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. 2020, not too far away. We are 6 days away from night number one of the excitement that will be the first Democratic debate. They're all getting out and sharpening their knives, thinking about what they're going to do, trying to appeal to those people who voted for Trump, who put Trump over the top. Bernie's been out. He's interviewing everywhere, although we've tried to get him on here. I'm pretty fair. By the way, I ask Democrats to come on all the time. All the time. And we always get, nah. So it is what it is.
How can you beat President Trump?
Well, I think that Trump is very vulnerable, but I think the best way that we beat him is run a campaign of energy and enthusiasm, which brings millions of young people into the political process, brings working people who have given up on politics into the political process, and by the way, reaches out to some of Trump's supporters who have learned that he is a pathological liar, and what he told them in 2016, that he was going to stand with the working class, was just not true.
Just not true. just not true. It's not going to happen. But you got to appeal to those people. And CNN had a panel of people who voted for Trump. Some still like, some don't like.
Just because I'm born black, I'm supposed to have this allegiance to the Democratic Party. To me, it was the most racist thing I ever did because I didn't care what his policy was. It was just the fact that he was black.
With Trump, I was really sold as soon as he came down that escalator and announced that he was going to run. It was almost like a big middle finger to the establishment, to all of politics. And I just felt that we really needed that.
Yeah. And I'm telling you guys, more and more, people understand. They don't care that he lies. They don't care that he does all of these things. And let's be real. A lot of times these lies are it's the whole fish analogy, right? I caught a gray white shark. You caught a bluegill. You caught a fish. It's silly. It's silly. It's not like your doctor, keep your doctor, knowing full well that, that's not going to really be true kind of scenario. And that actually affects you. Right? It's not promising the world. Because, and give people more credit. They know that they're not super people. They're not going to change everything. But white people like him. And that's why if you want to beat him, you must understand him. Playing identity politics, elitism, being super woke to the point where you lose touch isn't going to help you. Chris Matthews talked about it the other day. You're talking over him. You're talking at him. You're not talking to him.
How many of you today regret your vote for President Trump, or at least wouldn't do it again?
I just feel he has not acted properly as a president. He may get things done, but I see him as an embarrassment.
I think he fans the fires of hatred. I think he's a bully. I think he belittles people, calls people names. I think we're better than that.
Yeah, I think we're better than that, too. I say that all the time. Yeah. He's a bull in a China store. He is. And, fanning the fires of hatred, yeah, definitely. There's times a little bit of dog whistle here and there. But the other side is just like we were talking about reparations yesterday. And people were going, okay, so you think that's going to be, he's divisive, do that. And they had a whole day on it. And you're just sitting back here going, you know what? It's frustrating. Some will vote for him. Some will not vote for him again. Others who didn't vote for him will look and go, you know what? I'm going to vote for him. How do you reach those people and change their mind? You got to figure it out. You do. Because while you're trying to appease to the uber progressive side of the Democratic Party, remember, AOC was one of a small few that got voted in that are uber progressive, but they have the bully pulpit, they have the bullhorn, and they've got the stage. But the rest of the blue wave was centrist, classic liberals, not crazy, super far, appeal to the extreme liberals, Democrats, progressives, socialists.
I have a child. He's 14. He's a young African-American male. And just, the injustices that have been happening around the country, we're extremely fearful, African-American community. And, since he's become president, it has become more fearful for us as a people.
Daryl, why are you shaking your head no?
It just amazes me. This is 2019. The race relations and the way that we perceive or way that we say things are happening in this country, I don't see it happening.
Yeah. Some people do, some people don't. Burgess Owens, Danny Glover. Yesterday, both spoke. Somebody said, why don't you put Danny Glover up there? I said, you know what? I lost all respect for Danny Glover when he praised Hugo Chavez and became pal to a person that has led a country into death and despair. So that's when I lost it. I understand. But if you want to understand how to beat Trump, you better understand how he appeals to people and why. They don't care about the rhetoric. Some of them are like, he's an embarrassment, he's a joke. They liked it at the beginning because I think they thought it would end. And some people still like it because they still feel like you're not listening to me. You're talking at me, you're talking over me, and you know what's best for me. And that's not what I want. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is our Twitter. Tweet at me, Instagram me as well. Guys, we're terrible taking care of ourselves. From back pain to knee pain to erectile dysfunction, ED, 70% of men do not get it treated. They're embarrassed, their ego, whatever it is. They don't want to go to the doctor's waiting room, awkward conversation. So Roma came along and said, we got a great idea. We're going to be the one-stop shop. Licensed U.S. physicians They can diagnose you with ED right there from the comfort of your own home and send medication right to your door. Boom. Never going to have to set a foot into a doctor's office. You're never going to have to go to the pharmacy, have awkward face-to-face conversations. You go to GetRoman.com/Benson. It's free to do. You complete a dynamic online visit, chat with the doctor, and if it's right for you, they'll send you medicine directly to your door in unmarked packaging. It's that simple. It's free online visit. It's right now. Go to GetRoman.com/Benson. 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 At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Running with scissors sounds great compared to this.
Say what? No shock. I'm not surprised by any of this. I didn't desire any of this, but again, I don't think I'm anything special.
Outside All Scripture Baptist Church, before a weekly scheduled service, Pastor Grayson Fritz faced questions about a recent sermon where he called for governments to arrest, try, convict, and execute people within the LGBTQ community. Fritz standing by his sermon.
Because he's nuts. And I got to be honest with you. Don't protest so much. That's all I'm going to say in this Pride Month. Now, this guy wanted to hold some sort of thing at the Cracker Barrel, and they're like, yeah, no. No. Can't come here to the Cracker Barrel. This is the Cracker Barrel. All right? This is where you can get a giant chicken fried steak for breakfast with 8 pounds of pancakes and some insulin, okay?
It's totally separate, because if I'm employed by the sheriff's office, then if they came into the sheriff's office, obviously they're allowed there. You understand what I'm saying?
No.
I am over this. I am over this church. I am the head of this church. And I say who comes or goes. And, those people are not permitted to join. Those people are not permitted to attend.
Those people. What an awful human being. What an awful human being. So people say, that's going to ruin the sanctity of marriage. It's like, shut up. It's like, really just, no, it's not. We ruin the sanctity of marriage. We did. Human beings. Slow your roll. It's just so, these people are nuts. And people say, well, Chad, this is free speech. You know what? I've always said when you start advocating for violence, that's when you've lost me. That's when you've lost me there. Sorry. And this guy's a kook. This guy's an absolute kook. And I'm telling you, they're going to find out. Right? It's going to be something somewhere. Somebody's going to say, well, we were in the bathroom and his foot slid over and 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. What do we do with Iran? How close are we?
Anybody would believe that we're one step closer. They shot down an American asset.
One step closer. Is it true? Is it not true? Everybody take a deep breath. I don't think we're close to going to war with Iran. Could there be some retaliation for shooting down our drone? And remember, this is a $160 million drone, not a Radio Shack drone. Just want to point that out. Just want to put that out there. Everybody understand that. But I don't think we're going to war. Maybe a little, hey, don't do that again, but not war. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Bum, 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 Iran. Bum, 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 Iran.
I have a feeling, I may be wrong and I may be right, but I'm right a lot. I have a feeling that it was a mistake made by somebody that shouldn't have been doing what they did.
That's right. They shot down one of our super expensive $120 quadrillion gazillion dollar drone. It's like 37 cents a person is what we paid for that drone. Think about that for a second. They shot it down. Iran is not disputing whether or not they shot it down. They're disputing whether or not it was in open airspace. They said nope, it was over our airspace. Everybody's like, no, it wasn't. Trump even said, we got scientific proof that it was in free open air space. What? Yeah. Now what? That's the big question. Now what? Judging by what Trump said there and what he's continuing to say at this moment in time, it feels like I'm going to dampen this down right now. I just want everybody to relax, take a deep breath. But this is the third incident in 2 weeks. You had 2 tankers, a drone shot at last week, and now this drone shot down.
This drone was in international waters. Clearly, we have it all documented. It's documented scientifically, not just words. And they made a very bad mistake.
But who did it? Was it somebody that was stupid, that shouldn't be, doing this? Like somebody just said, hey, they're over our, we're going to fire. Do it. Or was it a real provoke towards us to see what we're going to do? That's the question. Right? That's the question. The left and the right are both speaking out. Elliot Engel, Democrat, New York City.
Another belligerent, acts from Iran. It would seem to me that if there is really a wanting not to go to war, then Iran would have acted differently than it acted.
Yeah. And I don't think they want to go to war, although they made it perfectly clear. We don't want to go to war, but we're ready. Now the question is, if you're Trump, what do you do? Because he said it over and over again when he was running for president. He doesn't want to be in endless wars. He wants to get us out of stuff. He's taken some steps toward that. But he said last week, I'm going to send 1,000 people over there because I have a feeling what we're not hearing is that intelligence from the Mossad, from the Saudis, and others in the Middle East is that they're getting desperate, the Iranians, and they're ramping stuff up. Plus, you got to think that the Pooter has got, his whisper is going out loud and clear to them, quiet to us, to just poke, just see what they may do. See what, yeah. We're not saying, go and start a full-blown war. Just see if they decide to do something. Because, we said the same thing to this guy over here, Assad, and man, he drew the line and over he went. So we know what he'll do there. But let's see now. He's running for re-election. He's got a lot of stuff. Just you guys see what he does.
I think it's important for us to stand up to Iran and to make it clear that we're not going to allow them to attack America or American allies.
Yeah. Now the question is, what do you think Trump's going to do? I think based on what he's saying right now, he's going to take a step back, let cooler, calmer heads prevail, and see. Put a line out there saying, look, we're going to give you the benefit of the doubt. We think that it was a mistake. He said that. We think it was a mistake, right? We think it was. We think it was somebody who was.
I find it hard to believe it was intentional, if you want to know the truth. I think that it could have been somebody who was loose and stupid that did it.
So there you go. Somebody loose and stupid. But the potential's there. So you draw the line now and say, fool us once, shame on you. Fool us twice. No. And then there's a school of thought that you say, hey, we pick an area, something that is theirs, not a lot of civilians, small casualties. We send a quick message that this will not be tolerated based on what happened last week, based on the continuous. And you got to think about this. It's not just us. They've been harassing and hounding people in the Straits of Hormuz for a very long time. Then you've got the de facto wars going on in Yemen and what's happening in Syria and everywhere else, and the threats that they're going to start to produce more uranium for their nuclear capabilities. They're desperate. They are. So we'll see. Cooler, calmer heads? Potentially. Opportunity for it to get ugly? Potentially. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. But I tell you what, shoot down another one, and I have a feeling that both the Democrats and the Republicans are going to go, we're going to have to act on this. And they'll pick some sort of target, and they'll look over there and say, let's light it up. Just give them a show of what the potential may be. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us.
In the tiny border town of Sullivan City, Texas, Police Chief Richard Osuna routinely gets calls from Customs to help catch people entering the country illegally. Except that
in the past couple of weeks, it's been a little bit slow versus 3-4 weeks ago.
At Catholic Charities in nearby McAllen, Sister Norma Pimental still receives up to 500 migrants a day.
But it's not as high as we saw some months back.
As much as a toughening of U.S. policy on illegal immigration, she thinks the weather may be responsible.
Sometimes the extreme heat deters them from coming.
And the lull in illegal border crossings may be only temporary.
Yeah. Some issues for sure. Once again, immigration front and center while all the rest of this stuff is going on. We need to still talk about things that matter. And I spoke yesterday to Congressperson Debbie Lesko, Arizona. And I said, you know, the concentration camp, take all that stuff out. Nothing is going on there. Why aren't you guys getting anything done? And she said, we've tried all kinds of things. We tried to do an amendment to the DREAM Act that would have allowed other people that they're not even asking to get the opportunity to stay here. And they still didn't go for it because it's become so partisan and so ridiculous. And I when it comes to immigration, talk to DACA recipients, and I've talked to more than a few. They don't want DACA upheld. They want the DREAM Act. They want a pathway and an opportunity, even if you give it to them, because we've become so partisan, so ridiculous, that we can't even get to a point where we can have a serious conversation about doing what's right, putting the people over the party, because we're back to the point now where we can't even condemn each other. This is very interesting. Yesterday, you know, as everybody talks about the AOC and all of this crazy wackiness, you know, Chuck Todd, you know, is an interesting character. I don't mind Chuck Todd so much. He was talking about what was going on with AOC, but the fact that, you know, he condemned her, you know, saying, and for me, the biggest condemnation is the ridiculousness of the whole, you know, concentration camps. And she's since doubled down. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But the never again scenario. But he does mention the fact that, you know what, now we're at the point where it's about protecting our own.
Are we really so ensconced in our political bubbles, liberal versus conservative, that we cannot talk about right versus wrong anymore? Some things are bigger than partisanship, or at least they used to be. And in the interim, the crux of what's truly at stake is lost. What is this country going to do about what's happening at the border in this humanitarian crisis? We'll get to that at some point, I guess, after we have this debate. I have no doubt Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez cares deeply about what's happening at the border. But she just did the people there a tremendous disservice by distracting from their plight. She said she didn't use those words lightly. Well, neither did I.
Yeah. And yeah, we are that far gone politically that we're willing to protect our own. It's like football, right? Protect the shield. Protect the brand. It's the same thing. Trump's the leader of the Republicans. The Republicans, for all intents and purposes, are going to protect their own, even if they don't agree with a lot of what he does, because it's about protecting your own. The liberals, same thing. Don't even think about disparaging or saying something. Don't. It's a joke. It is. It's an absolute joke. And because of that, we can't get stuff done. And that, again, not a winning recipe.
If you're a woman who feels like you're working and juggling more and sleeping less, you're right. According to the Labor Department, employed women worked approximately 7 hours and 20 minutes on average in 2018. Men stayed steady, spending slightly less than 8 hours on the job. The smallest workday gap between the sexes so far. Women are doing more at home.
Chores around the house. Women 30 minutes more than men, men less.
ABC's Dr. Jennifer Ashton. Women also take care of children on average 2 hours a day. That's up. Men less than an hour and a half, down in comparison. Men get about an hour more of leisure time a day on average than women.
We suck. Come on, man. Got to start pulling your weight here. Got to start doing it. Just a smidge. Start pulling your weight. I'm just saying. And they're getting less sleep. They're tired. They're working more. And, guys, here's the truth. You can look like Brad Pitt all day long, but you do the dishes, right? You mow the lawn. You take out the garbage without being asked. You do something. Replace that light bulb. Do something like that. See? A little bit of housework sweat. That's an aphrodisiac. I'm just throwing it out there. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Oh, man. Candid. Speaking of an aphrodisiac. Teeth. People see your smile. They notice it, right? They do. That's where Candid comes in. Because they notice that maybe your smile, as you got older, isn't what it used to be. It's not as bright and white. Definitely not as straight. And you're thinking to yourself, I don't want adult braces, but I might get them. Don't do it. Candid has what you need. They've got orthodontists who are licensed in your state. What they're going to do is they're going to create a treatment plan for you. They're going to send you a 3D preview of what your final results are going to look like. And you're going to love them. And the great thing is, you never have to go to an orthodontist office. Nope. They're going to create custom clear aligners. They're going to be sent directly to you. 65% less. That's what Candid costs in braces. So not only are you saving thousands of dollars, your teeth are going to be brighter, whiter, straight in an average of just under 6 months. Boom. How do you get this amazing deal? How do you find out about all of this? Simple. Go to candidco.com/Benson. You're going to learn everything you need to know. You're going to save $75 right there. That's candidco.com/Benson for $75 off. Candidco.com/Benson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Deep states? No. Deep doo-doo? Yeah. The Chad Benson Show.
Maryland Governor Larry Hogan says the decision means the cross can continue to stand tall and proud. Takesha James is the mayor of Bladensburg.
There are residents in our community who are atheists. There are some who are Muslim, and they have been supporting this and are grateful for the decision as well.
Philip Holtzclaw is the past commander of American Legion Post 131 here.
It is a veterans memorial. Never was intended to be a religious symbol.
He was joined here at the Peace Cross by local activist Renee Green.
This is more of a patriotic decision.
Yep. SCOTUS spoke today about the cross, and it gets to stay there. Now, producer Phil, you said it's not in a nice part of town, right?
No, it's really not.
But 7-2, that's a decent decision right there. So it gets to stay there, and it's been there for a very, very, very long time. I believe this is a World War I memorial, if I'm correct. I mean, it's been there forever.
The founders would have been appalled that the Constitution was being used to try to strike down any parts of our history or heritage or monuments that had religious symbols or religious imagery. And the court made clear today that that's no longer going to happen.
So there you go. SCOTUS has spoken, and away we head. It's been a very interesting session for SCOTUS, and they still have a couple things that in the coming weeks or so they're going to sort out, which will be, because it's not gone the way that some people have thought. Remember the whole thought process, and you never know, right? You put somebody up to be a judge, you look at their past, you think, okay, so the whole thought is it's a 5-4 decision all the time, and it's not been that way. We've seen that from Chief Justice Roberts to a few of the things that Kavanaugh has done, and it's going to be interesting to see where this goes from here on out. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. You can tweet at us. It was a mistake.
Authorities say surveillance video shows the suspects riding in a motorcycle to the scene. The hitman walks right up to Ortiz and fires into his back. Clubgoers run from their seats as Big Papi falls to the floor. Prosecutors say the alleged assassin was basing his target off of a photo taken just minutes before the attack with poor lighting, and he hit Ortiz by mistake. Victor Oquendo, ABC News, Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic.
David Ortiz, I would harbor a guess, is the most famous person in the Dominican Republic. Definitely top 5. But easily the most recognizable person. He's a giant. I think they've up to 11 now. 11 people. And the reality, too, is when you hear stuff about Ortiz and what's going on, this was a lot closer to death than people want to acknowledge. He's in a Boston hospital still, doing well, but under observation, and has been in and out of intensive care. This was a lot closer, but it's a mistake. It's the most famous person. So you mean to tell me you found the only person in the Dominican Republic who has no idea who David Ortiz is? Wow. And when you start to realize, too, they paid $7,800 to all of these people on average, $7,800, not per person, for the group to carry this out. Not good at all. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. Of course, the big news today, what's going on? One of our drones shot down. Everybody's got something to say about it, including this lady.
I don't think the president wants to go to war. There's no appetite for going to war in our country.
No, there isn't any appetite to go to war. In saying that, doesn't mean that you allow people to continue to do what they're doing. And Iran is poking, prodding, maybe trying to figure out exactly what we will or won't do. And maybe we will or won't do something. Trump, by the sounds of it today, looks like he's going to take a deep breath and see if he can calm down everybody and then go from there. But this is definitely feels a little provocative from the Iranians, if you will. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter, it's the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thought, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
This was an unprovoked attack on the U.S. surveillance asset that had not violated Iranian airspace at any time during its mission. A U.S. Navy RQ-4 was flying over the Gulf of Oman and the Strait of Hormuz on a recent surveillance mission in international airspace in the vicinity of recent IRGC maritime attacks when it was shot down by an IRGC surface-to-air missile.
Yep. Now what? That's the big question people are asking. What do we do? So we were monitoring an area where there had been tanker attacks. Everybody has said, we know it was Iran who did it. Even Adam Schiff, who cannot stand the president, Dip Schiff, we know who he is, said, we know who this is. We absolutely know who this is. This is Iran. So today, right, got one of our birds out there. We're saying we're in international waters. We're in airspace that is wide open. This isn't Iranian airspace or anybody else's. And lo and behold, they shoot it down. Unprovoked. The question is now what? Trump, oddly enough, for a lot of people, has been very, kind of non-Trumpian compared to what a lot of people think he would do. Because they think he's going to go off half-cocked and he's not going to listen to anybody. But
I have a feeling, I may be wrong and I may be right, but I'm right a lot. I have a feeling that it was a mistake made by somebody that shouldn't have been doing what they did.
So we'll see. We'll see. Both Democrats and Republicans are coming out saying, this is not a good look. Got to figure something out. We got to stand up to the Iranians. Even some Democrats are saying, this is serious.
The provocation on behalf of the Iranians is serious, and I think right now there's strong analysis going on as to exactly what happened and why.
And we'll figure it out over the next couple days. I don't think anything's going to happen anytime soon, but you never know. But I think Trump wants to get all of his ducks in a row because he knows he's running to become president of the United States again, as he announced the other night. I'm going to be president of the United States. You know, he did the thing in Orlando. Getting us into another war is not something he wants to do. Getting us into another situation. He's already sent 1,000 troops over there because of the escalation of the Iranians. And he doesn't want to, I don't think he wants to be any more involved than what it already is. He understands the pressure that's on the leaders in Iran. He understands what they're feeling. He understands how their economy is struggling and how people are looking at them for maybe, hey, it's time for a regime change. So I think he's going to play it straight, at least for a while. But I have a feeling if they do something else, I have a feeling that both sides are going to be saying, we need to do something. We need to do something. Because we can't allow them. And who knows where they're getting some of their info from. And by that, I mean the Iranians. You know, the Russians are pushing their buttons, right? Just see. Come on, see what he's going to do. See. I mean, maybe, you know, like when he did it to Assad, he was new, right? He was new. It's different now. He's running. He had just won. Totally different now. Now's your chance. See what he'll do. Put a line out there. We do know one thing. If there is a line that's out there, according to this president, you cross it, he's going to react. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. It's a new dating app in the UK. It's called Once. As I was reading about today, it's very interesting. So they don't play the games. All these dating, every app you have, doesn't matter what it is, from a video game to whatever, it's all about algorithms. And what they try to do is match you up with a lot of people in your area, right? That's a lot of what it is. But this dating app is totally different because what it does is it matches you up essentially with what you are. If you're a 10, you're going to get 10s, right? If you're a 2, you're going to get 2s. That's how it does. Now, the one thing that can change that is if you're a 10 and you find somebody who's a 4 attractive, maybe they're misclassified, that person's rankings will rise a little bit. And their whole thing is, all of our competitors kind of do this in the back end. We're just being upfront about it. So you kind of know where you stand. That's interesting. Because do people really want to hear the truth? I know a lot of people think they're better looking than they are. And there's a lot of people out there who don't think they're good looking, and they are. But do people really want to know the truth? That's a tough one. Speaking of the UK, this is what they're doing for ads. And this, I'm waiting for this to come here.
So easy. A man can do it.
So easy, a man could do it? Or this. Girls do ballet, course boys this.
Probably all think of adverts that portray women as always in the kitchen or men failing at simple household tasks. Well, now the Advertising Standards Authority is to crack down on ads that feature stereotypical gender roles. A review carried out by the ASA has suggested that these commercials have a cost for the individual, the economy and society.
Wow. Because how many commercials do you watch? Like, as a dad, I get offended by some of these commercials. I'm like, do you think I'm that much of an idiot? Like, I don't even know how to change a diaper. Do I put it on their head? It's so, and I used to say, watch the shows in the late 90s through even today. Every guy on there's a buffoon. Everybody loves Raymond. He's a buffoon. Right? Kevin James show, he's an idiot. Don't even know how he survives. Just, oh, my goodness. I mean, Jim Belushi, that guy, I'm surprised he breathes. I mean, everybody's a buffoon. It's so amazing. And as a guy, sometimes I sit back and think, well, wait a minute here. It's a buffoon. It's a buffoon. It's a buffoon. And I kind of, I'm sitting here going, all right, if it's popular, that's fine. But they're really starting to crack down in a lot of places across the globe. And it's coming here at some point in time. And you're seeing it with mannequins. And I found this to be interesting. So mannequins, the average woman in America is like 5'3.5", 5'4", and about 165 pounds. That's the average. This is the average mannequin is 6 foot and has like a 22-inch waist.
Look like a girl, but think like a man if you want to be a boss. Or this, are you beach body ready? The ASA's concerns are about stereotypes or ads that pressurize women and men to look and act in a certain way.
Yeah. It's all about getting rid of everything that you possibly can get rid of, right? All the genders, all of that kind of stuff. And I like that. I like we're different. I was watching Kennedy last night. I love Kennedy. And Kennedy's like, I want to live in a world, where my kids grow up and we're colorblind. I'm like, I don't want a world like that. I want I want Jack to grow up in a world where he can look around and celebrate people's differences and see it, but also all of the things that are the same, right? The things that we share that are the same. Tall, short, fat. There's certain things that we, that I'm okay celebrating. But yeah, like you're going to sell sex. Sex still sells. You want to beach body ready? Who doesn't want to be beach body ready? Who doesn't? Right now, I'm more of the beach well ready, but I'm trying, is what I'm trying to say.
It's going to be okay for an ad to show a woman shopping or cleaning. It's going to be okay for an ad to show a man doing a DIY task in the home. What we're going to be looking at is ads that go beyond that. Ads that paint a picture that it's, for example, the woman's role to tidy up after her family who trashed the house. That's her job. We're worried about that sort of depiction. Similarly, ads that mock men for being hopeless at performing straightforward parental or household tasks just because they're a man.
Yeah, like we're idiots. And we just talked about like women do more work and this, that, and the other. But it is just so, I just think men are idiots. In saying that, though, do we really need something like this?
How can such a pretty wife make such bad coffee?
I heard that.
One of the arguments is that ads are too orientated towards making women buy products that are for cleaning the loo, cleaning the house, washing up and everything. Well, so what, really? People can either take it in or not, and very often those women who are watching those ads, their husband's in the kitchen doing washing up anyway.
Yeah. You gotta ask yourself, it's when you look at advertising, and being in the world where I'm involved around advertising all the time, you're trying to have specific ads for specific groups. We're trying to get it so we want to find the lowest hanging fruit that's the easiest. And so by doing that, you're advertising at a specific group and going to them in a certain way. And if that's what works, should you limit that, even though you may think it's gender oriented and it's wrong and you're pushing things? It's about money, right? It's about finding the low hanging fruit, the easy things. I want the sale. I don't care how I get it kind of thing as far as my advertising goes. If you put somebody who's 250 pounds, overweight and gross, saying, hey, here's Beachbody Ready, do this diet, nobody's going to buy that. Yeah, you're right. Oh, it's weird. It's weird, but it's true. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Here's your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Everybody, please do. You can also text the program. And you can check us out on the gram of Instant. We do love hearing from everybody from the Instagram. I posted pictures up of Jack being here yesterday. What will we do with Iran?
I'm confident if there's a war with Iran, they lose. I'm confident it would be very devastating to the region, will not be pretty, don't want to go there. But what more do you expect the president to do?
Yeah, I think it's a very fair question as they, dig deeper into this. You're shooting down one of our drones unprovoked in international airspace and waters, and then you're putting out your Republican National Guard, whatever they are putting out, hey, we don't want to go to war, but we're ready, as your statement, and you're not denying shooting it down. I like what the president said today. I think it was a mistake, but we'll see. I want to see what he's going to come out with and say, all right, here's the deal. It was a mistake. We're going to give it to you this time. This is the line we draw. Anything that even comes close, if your shadow crosses that line, we're going to take it as an act of war. We're going to pick out an area, and we're going to show them what is capable of happening should you piss us off anymore. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Lightstream, kids. Time to get your finances in order. Average person interest rate pays 19+% APR on your credit cards. What's that mean? You buy dinner today, 6 months from now, at Christmas time, you're like, I'm still paying off dinner from June? Are you kidding me? Don't be that person. Get a credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream. You'll start saving tons of money immediately. How about this? Loans from as low as 5.95% APR with auto pay. That's huge. No fees. No fees. In many cases, you can get your money as early as the same day. And for my listeners, you get a special interest rate discount. Only way you can get this. So you go to lightstream.com/Benson. That's lightstream.com/Benson. They will take care of you. Start saving money now. Credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream is incredible. It's easy to get. Jump on this. Subject to credit approval. Rate includes 0.50% auto pay discount. Terms and conditions apply. Offer subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/Benson for more information. At Chad Benson Show. Twitter, ChadBenson. Nature's at it again. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show, where we reach across the aisle and occasionally poke someone in the eye.
Producer Phil Anici on this one. Will you remind everybody what nature may do to you?
Mr. Benson, nature will mess you up.
Mess you up. Case in point, not a shark.
It was a fun beach day with friends, now turned into a painful memory.
I was just kind of jumping around, dancing, just having fun, and they were like taking funny pictures of me, and we're just like all laughing. And then, yeah, the sea lion attacked me.
13-year-old Megan Pagnini's friend's photo shows what happened next. In this slowed-down iPhone Live photo, you can see a sea lion charging at her in the water.
I felt it on my leg, and I looked down and like freaked out. I didn't even know what it was. All I knew is that something was like attacking me.
Yeah, something. Something was attacking her. And the footage is crazy. She's standing there just hanging out, and she's literally on the shore. She's like in a foot of water. And you see the little waves breaking. And in the wave, in the tube, you see the sea lion coming, and he's loaded for bear.
People walking nearby quickly jumped in to help her, shocked that something like this could happen unprovoked.
After her leg was wrapped up and everything, she turned and looked at my husband and me and apologized to us, like she ruined our weekend or something. And it really just melted my heart. That little girl was worried about us in that moment.
Yeah. She was totally worried about you. Like the whole thing is ruined. But why? That's the question. Why did it happen?
California Fish and Wildlife Patrol Captain Todd Tognazzini says attacks like these are extremely rare. They're now treating the sea lion for possible domoic acid poisoning, a toxin that impacts the brain, because they say the sea lion's erratic behavior didn't stop there.
We believe that was why the sea lion in this incident not only bit the person, but then came on land and bit some metal lifeguard stands.
So essentially, he's methed out. He's been taking sea lion meth, and he's just lost it. It's like, what's wrong, man? Oh, he's on sea lion meth. Oh, it's the worst, dude. So he's in sea lion rehab. They showed him he's just all like in rehab with a bunch of other sea lions and an otter. They're all smoking cigarettes, drinking coffee, talking about their 12 flaps that it took them to get there. The first thing you need to do is apologize to that girl and realize that you're helpless too. Sea lion meth. The otter's like, hey, I'm on my 20-day chip. Chad, you're such a jerk. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. If you hadn't heard, I will remind you again. Today, Iran did something that has got everybody going, whoa, what's going on here? And it could potentially, and I'm saying it could potentially get ugly. Are we there just yet?
Anybody would believe that we're one step closer. They shot down an American asset.
Yeah, that's Lindsey Graham right there. You guys couldn't tell. Super. Did that for Pride Month. Oh, my God. Yeah, so they shot down a drone over the Strait of Hormuz. Trump is playing it kind of cool right now. Some people are saying, be ready, could be a retaliation at any time. Others are, I think Trump's going to play it a little bit cooler than that. I think he wants all the information and wants to draw the line so everybody knows that there is a line that's actually drawn before something happens. That way he could say, don't say I didn't warn you. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Got your useless fact today. Also has to do with the ocean. 12 people have set foot on the moon. How many people have been to the bottom of the ocean, the deepest part of the ocean, the Marianas Trench? 2 scientists went in the 60s. And James Cameron went in 2012. 3 people. We know more about the surface of the moon than the deepest parts of the sea. Have a great rest of your day. I'm back Monday, as always. Night, night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.